The room gets quiet when real leadership enters, not because of fancy speeches or titles, but because presence commands attention. Rule number 3 isn't about theory. It's about pressure, responsibility, and the standard you set when eyes are on you, and even more when they're not. This isn't for everyone. It's for the ones who carry the weight without flinching. The ones who know that leadership isn't a reward, it's a responsibility. Step 1, lead by example, not by title. Leadership isn't about the badge you wear on your chest or the title that hangs on your door. It's not about how loud you can talk in a meeting or how many people answer to you. Real leadership begins and ends with what you do when the lights are on, and especially when no one's watching. People don't follow orders, they follow standards, they follow behavior. They watch every move you make, every reaction, every decision, and they take their cues from you. If you're lazy, they will be lazy. If you cut corners, they will too. But if you show up with precision, discipline, and relentless commitment, they will rise to match you. That's the power of example. It doesn't need a speech. It doesn't need applause. It speaks for itself. When chaos hits, the team looks to the leader for direction. They don't wait for a memo. They read your posture. If you panic, they panic. If you fold, they fold. But when you stay composed, when you execute with clarity and purpose, they align behind you without hesitation. Leadership is about being the standard when the situation is unclear. Anyone can lead when the path is smooth. True leadership emerges in the friction, in the mud, in the late nights when fatigue sets in and shortcuts whisper their seductive lies. That's when your actions define you. You set the tone by the way you handle adversity. You dictate the culture by the way you confront the grind. It's easy to talk about expectations. It's harder to live them. It's easy to write a vision on a wall. It's harder to embody that vision in every small decision, every routine, every repetition. When you're the one putting in the work, when you're the one pushing beyond comfort, the team sees it. And seeing is more powerful than hearing. They learn faster from your behavior than from any training manual. They respect action more than authority. They will follow you because they trust what you do, not because they're forced to comply. Leadership by example is contagious. It silently elevates everyone. It demands excellence without ever needing to say a word. It builds cultures where excuses don't survive, where mediocrity has no oxygen, and where the standard becomes non-negotiable. Step 2, discipline builds trust. Trust isn't built through slogans or motivational speeches. It's forged in the quiet repetition of disciplined action. When people look to a leader, they don't just listen to what you say, they observe how consistent you are. They measure you by how you show up, how you make decisions, and how you handle pressure. Discipline means doing what needs to be done, exactly how it needs to be done, every single time, without letting mood, fatigue, or convenience dictate your standards. It's the ability to be steady when everything else wavers. Teams trust leaders who are predictable in their commitment, not in their words, but in their patterns. When your people know that your reaction today will be the same as it was yesterday, when they see that you hold yourself to the same standard you demand from them, trust begins to form, not as a fragile agreement, but as something solid, something earned. Discipline removes doubt. It eliminates the uncertainty that corrodes confidence. If your team never knows which version of you will show up, focused or distracted, determined or indifferent, they can't anchor themselves to your leadership. But when your behavior is anchored in discipline, they can rely on you like they rely on gravity. There's no hesitation. There's no guessing game. They know you'll enforce the standard. They know you'll hold the line, and they know you'll do it regardless of the situation. That consistency builds a foundation where trust grows naturally because people feel secure under disciplined leadership. They don't have to question whether you'll follow through. They already know. Discipline isn't glamorous. It's not loud. It's the repetition of small actions that seem insignificant in the moment, but compound into something powerful over time. It's showing up early, even when no one is watching. It's sticking to the plan when the easy way out is right in front of you. It's maintaining control under pressure, executing with precision when chaos is swirling, and refusing to lower your standards even when fatigue sets in. That unwavering behavior sends a clear message to your team. They can trust you to be dependable, to be focused, to be steady. And when that trust is built, their own discipline strengthens in return, creating a cycle where leadership and trust reinforce each other through action, not talk. Step 3. Stay calm in chaos. True leadership is revealed not when everything is running smoothly, but when the storm hits and the world seems to be collapsing around you. Chaos has a way of exposing weaknesses, testing every decision, and magnifying every mistake. In those moments, people don't remember what you said. They remember how you carried yourself. Calmness in chaos is not about ignoring the danger or pretending everything is fine. It's about maintaining clarity, focus, and control when everything else is spiraling. Your team will instinctively mirror your demeanor. If you panic, they panic. If you lose control, they lose control. But when you remain composed, when you analyze the situation, make deliberate choices, and act decisively, your calm becomes the anchor that steadies everyone else. Leadership in chaos is about being the constant, the immovable presence that others can rely on. Staying calm in high-pressure situations isn't easy. It takes preparation, discipline, and mental toughness. You must know your mission, understand the stakes, and trust your training, because the moment chaos arrives, there is no time for hesitation. The ability to process rapidly unfolding events, to separate signal from noise, and to act decisively under pressure distinguishes leaders from followers. Calmness is contagious. A single steady voice, a single deliberate action can shift an entire team from panic to purpose. Your composure communicates confidence, and confidence spreads faster than fear ever could. People don't follow leaders who crumble under pressure. They follow leaders who provide a foundation, a sense of control, and a model for how to respond effectively. Calmness is also about controlling emotions. When things go wrong, instinct may scream for immediate reaction, for anger or blame. But effective leaders regulate those impulses. They pause, assess, and respond rather than react. That restraint builds credibility and inspires respect. The team begins to trust not only your decisions, but your judgment, knowing that you won't act rashly or let fear dictate action. Your calm sets the pace, dictates the tempo, and allows the team to operate at their best, even under extreme stress. Leadership under fire is about visibility and reliability. The ability to project steadiness and control in the midst of uncertainty, allowing your people to find their footing in a world that is otherwise unsteady, chaotic, and unpredictable. Step 4. Own the outcome completely. Leadership isn't about shifting blame or hiding behind excuses. It's about taking full responsibility for everything that happens under your watch, whether it's success or failure. Owning the outcome completely means accepting that the results, good or bad, start and end with you. When a mission fails, it isn't your team's fault, it's yours. When things go right, it isn't luck. It's because you led with clarity, focus, and accountability. This mindset separates true leaders from those who merely occupy a position. Excuses erode trust and dilute authority, but ownership builds both. When you stand up and take responsibility, you set a standard that others cannot ignore. Your team sees that accountability isn't optional, it's fundamental. Owning the outcome requires courage because it means confronting uncomfortable truths. Mistakes are inevitable, but what matters is how you respond. Do you point fingers, rationalize, or make excuses? Or do you examine the situation honestly, identify the failures, and implement solutions immediately? Leaders who own the outcome don't hide behind hierarchy or manipulate circumstances to protect themselves. They face reality head-on, absorb the pressure, and take decisive action to correct the course. That courage creates a culture of responsibility. Team members begin to mirror that behavior. They learn that the first step toward improvement is acknowledgement, and that accountability is not a punishment, but a path to excellence. Ownership also means being proactive, not reactive, waiting for someone else to fix the problem, waiting for instructions, or waiting for conditions to be perfect is the opposite of leadership. When you take full responsibility, you act immediately to influence the outcome, and you don't wait for permission or approval. Your team sees your initiative and is inspired to act with the same sense of urgency and commitment. Ownership fosters trust because people know they can rely on you to step up in any situation. It eliminates hesitation, indecision, and doubt. Your confidence in accepting full responsibility transfers to the team, creating momentum that drives results forward even in the most challenging circumstances. Leadership by ownership also reinforces integrity. When you openly accept both success and failure as your own, you demonstrate transparency and honesty. Your credibility increases and your team respects you not for what you say, but for the principles you live by. They understand that accountability starts at the top, flows through every level of the organization, and shapes the culture in ways that words alone never could. Ownership demands humility, resilience, and unwavering commitment, and it becomes the foundation for sustainable leadership and lasting impact. Step 5. Elevate others relentlessly. Leadership is not about standing in the spotlight or seeking recognition for yourself. True leadership is measured by the success and growth of the people around you. To elevate others relentlessly means to invest in your team, to push them beyond their perceived limits, and to create opportunities for them to shine. It's about recognizing potential and cultivating it consistently. When a leader lifts others, they amplify the collective capability of the team. Every skill developed, every confidence strengthened, and every achievement celebrated becomes a reflection of effective leadership. Leaders who commit to elevating others understand that their legacy is not defined by personal accolades, but by the growth and impact of those they lead. Elevating others requires intentionality. It's not accidental, it's deliberate, consistent, and proactive. You identify the strengths in each individual and provide them with the resources, guidance, and challenges necessary to develop those strengths. You create an environment where people feel safe to take risks, to fail, and to learn. When team members know that their leader is genuinely invested in their growth, it ignites motivation, engagement, and loyalty. They become willing to push past discomfort, to embrace responsibility, and to perform at levels they didn't think were possible. Elevation is contagious. When one person grows, it raises the standard for everyone else. To elevate others relentlessly also means stepping aside when necessary. True leaders do not hoard opportunities or crave control. They empower their team to make decisions, to take ownership, and to demonstrate initiative. By giving them space to lead and by trusting them to execute, you build confidence and resilience. You teach them how to handle pressure, make tough decisions, and navigate challenges on their own. That empowerment multiplies effectiveness, strengthens cohesion, and creates a culture of leadership at every level. Leaders who elevate others do not see themselves as the sole source of success. They see themselves as the catalyst for a team's collective achievement. Elevation requires patience and persistence. People grow at different rates, and setbacks are inevitable. But relentless leaders stay committed, providing support, feedback, and encouragement continuously. They celebrate victories, acknowledge progress, and help course correct when needed without criticism that demoralizes. Elevating others is about building people up, even when it requires extra effort, attention, and energy. It is an investment in the long-term strength of the team, one that multiplies outcomes, fosters loyalty, and creates a culture where excellence becomes the standard rather than the exception. Step 6. Make tough calls decisively. Leadership is defined by the decisions you make, especially the ones no one else wants to touch. Tough calls are inevitable, and the cost of hesitation can be catastrophic. Waiting for the perfect moment, seeking unanimous agreement, or overanalyzing every variable is a luxury leaders cannot afford. True leadership requires decisiveness, the ability to assess the situation, weigh the risks, and act with clarity and conviction even under pressure. When you make tough calls decisively, you provide direction and confidence to your team. Uncertainty paralyzes people, but clear decisions create momentum. Your decisiveness signals that you are in control, that the team can trust your judgment, and that you are willing to shoulder the burden of responsibility. Decisive leadership requires courage. Tough calls often come with consequences, scrutiny, and criticism. The easier path may be to delay, to compromise, or to avoid confrontation altogether. But leaders who make decisive choices understand that leadership is not about popularity, It's about accountability. You must accept that not every decision will be perfect, but the cost of indecision is far greater. Every moment spent wavering is an opportunity lost, a mission delayed, or a team confused. By committing to action, you take ownership of the outcome, instill confidence, and set a standard for your team to follow. Courageous, decisive leaders inspire their people to act with urgency and purpose, even when the stakes are high. Making tough calls also requires clarity of purpose and a deep understanding of priorities. You must distinguish between what is critical and what is secondary, between what will have a lasting impact and what is trivial. Decisiveness comes from preparation, knowledge, and experience. Leaders who study their environment, understand their team, and anticipate challenges can make informed decisions quickly. They don't guess blindly, they act with intention. The clarity of a decisive choice eliminates doubt, aligns the team, and creates momentum toward achieving objectives. When people see their leader act with confidence, they mirror that decisiveness in their own roles, accelerating execution and strengthening cohesion. Decisive leadership also means accepting the consequences without hesitation or deflection. The responsibility rests on your shoulders, and you must be willing to confront setbacks, adapt as necessary, and move forward relentlessly. Indecision breeds uncertainty, fractures morale, and undermines trust, while decisive action builds credibility, reinforces authority, and strengthens team cohesion. Leaders who consistently make tough calls decisively create a culture of accountability and resilience, where challenges are met with action, risks are managed with foresight, and the team operates at a higher standard under pressure. Leadership isn't about titles, it's about action. Lead by example, stay disciplined, own the outcome, elevate others, and make the tough calls decisively. Your team mirrors your standards, and your legacy is built in how you act under pressure. Step up, set the standard, and lead relentlessly.